What's good? What's good? What's good, folks? Today is week 170 of Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam. As you see, rolling solo today. So if you want to join me, if you know somebody want to join me, go ahead. I got the link. Just send me a message. Um, I'll get you a link. So if you guys are more than welcome to join me. But if not, I got the whole script ready to go that we're gonna run down today. I hope all is well with you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the holiday season as it is. What is it? 10 more days to Christmas, and I don't know who got a tree up. There ain't no tree up over here, but if you got a tree up, happy holidays to you. But we're gonna talk about. Right now, the NFL. The NFL, we had a big week in the NFL, big week in NBA. Steph Curry broke a record, obviously, yesterday. Talk about his impact, not him breaking the record is kudos to him, but what's his impact in the NBA? And we're going to have that conversation again. You're more than welcome to join me. Just shoot me your message in the link, and I'll get you the link to join me. But what's Steph Curry's impact in the NBA? We're going to talk about this week in history, and then Voice of the Fans football. I'll give you the update on Voice of the Fans fantasy football competition later. But each and every week we start the week with our numbers game, with it being December 15th, 2021, week 170 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. I want to use the number 15 and then the number 70. And just talk about those numbers. When I think of the number 15, a childhood memory of mine was Anthony Allen from the University of Washington. It was kind of stuck in my head until Jeff Hostetler won the Super Bowl for the New York Giants, and he became number 15. Carmelo Anthony, big deal. I'm not a big Carmelo Anthony fan, so I know he wore the number 15, but who comes to your mind first, or who wore it best is how I like to answer that question. And then we got the number 70. So I got those Jeff Hostetler, Anthony Allen, Jeff Hostetler, and then I mentioned Carmelo Anthony. Number 70 is Michael Sinclair or the Seahawks. Art Donovan, old school defensive lineman, comedian, and TV producer, I guess. We had those are the guys who wore number 70 that kind of stuck out of my mind. So the NFL topics this week in the NFL is kind of interesting. I thought the Rams paid the Cardinals back for the whooping that they gave them earlier in the season. They turned around and gave them a whooping, kind of surprisingly in their own building. The Cardinals was running strong, and how quick, how tenuous their spot was at the top of the division or the top of the conference, because they lose one game and they go back from first to third. And they cannot lose games because they'll be dropped right out of that top spot, which, if you guys remember, there's only one bye this year. So the Cardinals got work to do, whether it's the injury. Now we hear that the receiver, Hopkins, is going to be here. Dallas Mavericks throwing the game away against the Lakers in overtime. LeBron hanging on the rim and what have you. So it's a little commentary what's going on right now. But we're looking at the Cardinals need to kind of win these games, and without Hopkins, although Murray can make plays, it's going to be challenging for him to kind of get things done. So things are like I said, tenuous for the Arizona Cardinals at best. Odell Beckham Jr. What do I think Odell Beckham Jr. future is? I mean, he's in a good spot. Fortunate if he can learn the offense. Well, it's not even a matter if he can learn the offense. Sean McVay is going to run an offense for him and kind of cater to his needs, especially without the services of Robert Woods, who got injured. It's unfortunate that he got injured, but that does really just open up a spot for Odell Beckham to kind of flourish and do his thing. So it's not even a matter of can he adapt to the offense, because Sean McVay loves tinkering with his skill, showing how smart he is, and he's definitely going to show the NFL how to use Odell Beckham. So Odell Beckham's in a great opportunity. In a great position. That was a question we had. What do we think of Odell Beckham from Fionn McPhail? Well, so there you go, big guy. That's your answer to your question. Um, what else we have today? But the Niners beat up on the Bengals. I had the Bengals winning that game. Kind of surprising to me that the Niners were able to show some mettle, and the Bengals kind of let another game slip and slide away. Like they've been looking another team that's been looking all good for the most of the season, but then they turn around and lose a game to the hapless Niners, who's aren't going anywhere after losing the game to the Chargers a week ago. So they're kind of falling back into um, regressing to the mean, if you will. The Falcons, kind of a similar story, have never been able to get some footing all season long, but they beat up on the Panthers, who just a lot of people would think had some promise for the Panthers in the first year. You heard a lot of Panthers talk at the beginning of the season, um, even before Cam signed, but they're not able to get it done. The New England Patriots. Well, I mean, what can you say? What can you say about the Patriots and Bill Belichick? They're one. They're right here. Um, they're in a 7-game winning streak, I believe. So they're really getting it done here as of late, and that history and nostalgia. The game's tied up. It looks like Dallas and the Lakers are going to. Well, it's 15 seconds left in the overtime, so we'll see if the Lakers can come up with a play. Um, it should be LeBron winding the clock down, if anything. Um, we'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, the Patriots, Bill Belichick and the crew, again, play do not beat yourself football. We saw what they were able to do, just devise a game plan. If last week was an example that they can devise a game plan that will beat any team in the league when they run the ball 46 times, or 43 or 46 times against one of the so-called best teams in the game. So, I mean, the Patriots just kind of showing their mettle. The Dolphins here are winning 6 in a row. Surprisingly, they showing some life. This is what the head coach Brian Flores has done 3 years in a row. Have a terrible start, and then team warms up, and then the first year they made the playoff. Last year they did not make the playoffs. I don't expect them to make it the playoffs with a 1-7 start this season. But this is Brian Flores' MO. Start slow and then just build momentum. It's happened 3 years in a row. It's a pattern here. I see a pattern of consistent inconsistencies. And so it's not. I don't enjoy seeing it as a Dolphin fan, but that's what we see from the Dolphins. They go 4-0, even though tools are in this 6-game winning streak. If they won 6 games, you can't poo poo that as well. And Tua's been able to stay healthy during the 6 games. They look like they've learned something about how to use Jalen Waddle, their first year man in the game. The Lakers do get a shot with 0.9 seconds on the clock, and they throw it up. And who is this that hit a jumper? It's the dude from Indiana. Looks like who should hit the jumper over the Dallas Mavericks. Is this Reeves, the Reeves kid? Yeah, that is the Reeves kid. Hits the jumper to win the game, a game-winning jumper. Let's take another look at it. They got to show it here momentarily. 15 seconds to go. LeBron gets the ball. Like I said, he's gonna let time run down. It's 7. He passes 1 pass, 2 pass to Westbrook drives. Westbrook kicks it out to Reeves, who hits a 3, and it's all net. Woof, woof. It was all net. Again, 1 pass, 2 pass. Russell drives to the rim, kicks it out to him, and he looks like he got fouled. Looking like it could have been an and one actually. But he go ahead, he hits it, and it's all net. This guy's jumper is just wet right here. Boom. Pow. So the Lakers. I'm gonna get to the Lakers in my NBA discussions, but wow, yeah, he just hits it right there. It's on that. So man, we have COVID that's really hit the NFL. If you don't know, I tell you, I cover the Los Angeles Chargers, so I'm there a few times a week and cover all the games. And with Rashawn Slater going down, like this kid was on a Pro Bowl arc this season, so that's really they missed Keenan Keenan Allen last game due to COVID, and but honestly, I tell you. Uh, I think this missing Rashawn Slater is going to be more impactful to replacing Keenan Allen. We know Justin Herbert has some movement availability or ability, excuse me, that he can kind of draw out the play and kind of make things happen on the run. We get that, we understand that, we see that each and every week, or at least I have. If you haven't watched the Chargers, you need to watch the Chargers to watch this kid Justin Herbert get the job done. Each and every week he's making big plays that's just like wow. Um, Last week there was a play 55 yards in the air in the breadbasket to Jalen Guyton. I mean, he does this week in, week out. There's consistent plays that he makes to show you he's a big time quarterback in the league. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. And it's not me being a fan or anything. It's just me being a fan of football and seeing what this kid is doing, and he's doing something special. But as I mentioned, Rashawn Slater being out on Thursday against the Chiefs is going to be more impactful to the Chargers than Keenan Allen was last week because they had Josh Palmer, the third round pick that they could put in, or was he second or third round pick? They can put in Keenan Allen's spot. If not, they had Jalen Guyton, who already played with, who's making big plays last year, who him and Herbert already kind of be familiar with. Not saying you don't need Keenan. Excuse me. Don't even mix that up. What I'm saying, it's just I'm saying this impact of you can't replace a Rashawn Slater as easily as you were able to place Keenan Allen, and that's just because of the makeup of your roster, where you're already looking for linemen already, looking for quality linemen, and to have one go down, your best guy go down. It's gonna be a tough day tomorrow, but you know it's COVID impacts everything. We don't know what's going on in COVID. I hate to be a gambler right now, trying to bet on these games because you don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out. You can just all fantasy teams has been impacted, and it's a wild thing. This COVID, guys, just be safe, mask up when you can, and be safe. That's my advice. Keep washing your hands. Do the stuff your grandmother told you, or at least my grandma told you. Be safe, be clean. Stop spreading your germs around people. I mean that I remember growing up, spreading your germs was a nasty thing. Everybody was cognizant of the germs that we spread around with each other. We just need to be more cognizant of that now, folks. Last week, the Chiefs, their win last week, I think, was pretty good over the Raiders when they pounded the Raiders into submission. I think we saw the white flag come out, didn't we, at some point in that game? I think that was a better win for the Chiefs than a worse loss for the Raiders. So I have the next set of games we'll break them down into better win, worse loss. And I think that was a good win for the Chiefs. The Seahawks rebounded against the Texans. I guess that was a good one for city and team morale because you know they're not going anywhere. But this may be the last we see of Russell Wilson in the Seahawks uniform, so they need to enjoy that now. So that it was good. A W was good in that situation. And the Buccaneers coming back to beat up on the Bills. I guess that could be either way. I can't see that as a bad loss for the Bills, but I see it as a better win for the Buccaneers because once again that they proved that they're a contender here in the NFL. If you had any doubt, you know they're going to beat one of the better teams in the NFL to show you that there's no reason to have any doubt of who. Remember who's leading that team. Remember who they are. And I could see it as a worst loss for the Buffalo Bills because you're supposed to be the new kid on the block, but you're getting beat by everybody. Like you're not a threat to anybody anymore. But this late in the season, and so Buffalo, like, what happened to you guys? The quarterback was a MVP candidate. Then all of a sudden he's not. Him in the receiving core, and they had because they played video games, they had so much chemistry and camaraderie. Well, that hasn't paid off into wins this second season around. So I think Buffalo was all talk. There was um, too much attention given to Buffalo Bills this season. Too much talk. We wasted too much. Well, there was a lot of airtime wasted on the Buffalo Bills because I was not really ever impressed. And the quarterback is accurate. He likes to run the ball. There's a lot of running quarterbacks out there. We already seen that they don't survive. So I'm not impressed by the Bills. I'm not impressed by the Bills. So I can see that as a bit. That's why I don't have it as a worst loss because I'm not impressed by the Bills, and I'm not that disappointed that they lost. So there you go. Uh, the Bengals losing to the Niners. I think I talked about that already. I was disappointed in them. Um, and the Browns beating the Ravens. I was disappointed in the Ravens losing to the Browns in the fashion that they did. The Ravens are a bit much. They're a better team than the Browns. Period. And for them to lose to the Browns, if I was on that team, I'd be. Everybody's already questioning the call. Should they have went for two, or should they have just kicked the field goal to tie it up and go into overtime? I don't know. I'm not mad at the call, but they shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with, and so losing to the Browns was a bad move. Um, and I actually had the Ravens winning that game. That's why another reason I'm a little ticked off about that. But last week, I'm not going to go into our rankings. Going into last week, I had the Packers, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Chiefs, and Patriots in my top five. I just had to update that because of the way the season went. So thank you guys for hanging with me again. My want to give a shout out to the guys at Hoops and Brews for helping produce the show. Want to give you also a shout out to Cleveland for he's been a major my guest host for the last 10 plus years it feels like, but unfortunately, he has him and his father Eddie still have some things to talk about and something to get straight. So we hope to be getting Cleveland back soon, but want to give a shout out to Cleveland and best wishes to his family. Nice holiday greeting. So thank you guys for hanging into the show as well. Thank you guys for hanging with me. But we're going to get into the NBA topics right now. And again, you're more than welcome to join the show. Hit me in the chat. Answer any question you got. We can chat during the show. If you want a link, give me an email address. I can send the link for you guys. So, because I need a guest host, hey, get in the show. Let's talk about it. Be a part of the show. Let's just don't watch me. Let's be a part of this. And so we can talk. We can have a good time. I just want to be. If you got a good football knowledge, let's talk about it. I'm not 100% on the season. I can tell you on the season realistically, but because we track all of our picks on the season, I'm 64% in all of my picks. Having a terrible pick with my picks against the spread. I don't know why. So this is the worst it's ever been, but it's around the 42%. That's terrible. So picks against the spread are 42%, which is absolutely horrendous. But the picks, all of the picks, every game against the year, I'm 64%. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Our confidence picks, we give teams 1 through 5 the confidence that we have them winning in, 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, but we pick 5 teams that we have confidence going to win in this week. I'm 80% in this particular category on the season, so that's pretty good. And then making one picks every week. So again, I'm not going to go down which games we have, but going to talk about some NBA topics right now. Um, I'm a Sonics fan. Sonics are long gone, as you know, if you're an NBA fan. I just enjoy the game of basketball, even though I don't have a specific team that I, ride or die with because the Supersonics are no more. When they come back, that'll be the team. Until then, um, I just enjoy basketball. How could you not? Who could not? Who does not like ball? I question the people who don't like basketball. I'll put it like that. Because how could you not like the game? Everything that is involved in the game, and I don't trust you if you're not a fan of basketball. Period, like that. So we, we'll leave that. We'll leave it right there. Um, Last night, obviously, big night. Breaks the 3 pointers made record. So congratulations to him. Ray Allen obviously was a killer. Reggie Miller before that, but Steph obviously he's a game changer. He's done a lot of things to bring a lot more attention to the game because everybody can. Number one, in comparison to who he's playing against, Steph is a little guy, but he in real life, I mean, he's 6'2", 6'3", which is he's taller than most people. He's taller than the average guy. And then his jumper is just silky smooth. But in comparison, he's a little guy, and he makes everybody feel like he can get out there and compete on the basketball court and get these jumpers off. Um, and he does his thing. He does his thing every night, and you guys see it. So him breaking the record was no surprise. You knew it was going to be done because I mean, he makes threes. He's making 6 or 7 threes a game, so that's incredible. If you remember back in 90, 93 when Jordan played Clyde Drexler in the NBA Finals, the famous shrug. All right, that's because Jordan makes 6 3-pointers in that game. That was 3 quarters through that game, and that was amazing. That 6 3-pointers were being made um, in the game at that point. Steph Curry is taking 15 3-pointers a game. So he's taking them. He's obviously shooting somewhere between 35-40%. So he's making 6 or 7 of those 3-pointers a game. And then obviously he gets in the game where where he hits 12. I mean, so yeah, that record's gonna be obliterated. I mean, no telling what Steph is gonna do to this record, and it's gonna take a long time for it to be broken again because there's nobody shooting it like Steph. And so I really didn't want to go. I went on a little tangent there, but I just wanted to talk about my real question is to all you guys watching the show is how did Steph change the game, change basketball, and obviously he's had a huge impact on the game because you watching little kids now, they can't wait to jump out and start shooting a three before they trying to go in the lane and trying to do a nice finger roll or they, trying to throw it off the glass. These guys are trying to shoot 3-pointers to make it, and that's because of the impact of Steph Curry. Again, most people are not going to be 6'9", 250 pounds, with light feet, quick hands, ability to jump. Most people aren't going to be like that. Most people are going to be able to step back and shoot a 3-pointer though. And that's what Steph Curry does and gives a lot of people hope. But there's a lot of people think they can be, and you've seen that. You've seen a lot of people taking that logo three or that three from the coach's box on the right side or left side, or excuse me, on the right side of the floor. You've seen that, but nobody's done it like Steph. So Steph has really changed the game. If you agree with me, let me know. Press 1. If you disagree with me, press 2. Did Steph change the game? That's the question for you guys. Um, tonight. And if you don't agree with how I feel he changed the game, you tell me else. You tell me how he changed the game. If Steph changed the game, and I say absolutely. And if you agree with me, press one. So what you guys think? Did Steph change the game? If you agree with me, let me know. If you agree, I think he's changed the game. If you agree with me, let me know. Did Steph change the game? What do you think? Let me know. Just get in the chat. Let me know. I'm here for you guys. Um, let me know what's up. I'm sorry for the delay, guys. Also, so that's a big question about Steph. So anybody, what about the Phoenix Suns? Do you believe in the Phoenix Suns this season? Obviously, they made it to the finals last season. Are you Phoenix Suns believer? They had a big win last night. I think they beat Portland. But are you a believer in the Phoenix Suns? Because they were riding high. They beat Golden State. Actually, both teams were on a winning streak. They beat Golden State. So that tells you that they were serious. As Golden State was serious, they beat Golden State. And my question is, do you now believe in the Phoenix Suns? And if so, then you gotta believe in the Clippers because the Clippers just waxed the Phoenix Suns the other night, right? The Clippers. I'm sorry, folks. The Clippers just waxed the Phoenix Suns the other night, and they didn't have Paul George. So that was kind of surprising that they put in that work and they didn't have Paul George. And the Suns, although they didn't have Devin Booker, thinking they had a runny nose or something like that, they didn't have Devin Booker, but the Clippers beat them without Paul George, which is surprising. That would have to be surprising to a lot of you guys. So the Clippers are rolling, man. The Clippers, the couple acquisitions that have quietly been really good for the Clippers this season is Eric Bledsoe and Hartenstein. Hartenstein is an energetic big with tremendous passing ability, and I say tremendous. Um, Let me take it down a notch. He's not as good as Jokic, but he's not bad for a big man. He's impressive, actually. You see him running plays with Bledsoe, him running plays with Luke Kennard to get them open and they get free shots. Isaiah Hartenstein is the big acquisition for the Clippers that they picked up this offseason. That makes them pretty good. And then obviously they're going to be on hold because they're still waiting about 3 months before, I guess we could put the 90-day count on it for Kawhi to come back. It'll be March or April before it comes back. So you can get close. It's getting close. Another week, another 12 days, I guess, we could put the 90-day count on Kawhi Leonard or when he should be back on the court. Man, again, I talked a little bit about COVID with the NFL. COVID here strikes in the NBA, and not only are a few players coming down with COVID, but the whole Bulls team essentially has come down with COVID, and they have to postpone some games for health and safety reasons. I find that rather interesting. Do you guys think with these kind of signs of the time that that's just what we need to endure, or do you guys how do I put it? Is that just it just has to be what we endure? But do you guys think this is something that is unexpected with the NBA or the NFL to have these kind of outbreaks? Answer that question for me. Um, they are oftentimes much more exposed. Yes, I know because they're in a building. There's 20,000 people in there, and they don't know where that you know where they've been in a matter of sense, vaccinated or not. So I guess the players will be in more harm's way. But it's just interesting. Is this should should we be surprised by the outbreaks that they're having on the field on these certain teams, the Chargers specifically? We can just say anybody in the NBA who's going to be out right now. Giannis, I think, is going to be out right now. The whole Bulls team is going to be out right now. So we can say that also that there's a lot more players, even though it's lot more a lot less players in total. There's like 1,500 players in total in the NBA. We hear about more of their stories than the guys in the NFL who's been playing most of the season, and that's kind of interesting because we know that there's a lot more of those players than there are of the NBA players. But I mean, this COVID is obviously is something that we're going to have to live and deal with, and hopefully you guys get vaccinated, and so you're being safe. But I just should we expect? Is this an expectation? Should we expect more of this because these guys are in such closer proximities of doing what they're doing? I don't know. It's a weird kind of question to ask, but we're going to leave it at that. So the Lakers go up here and they beat up on the Mavericks. They go down to Dallas. They beat the Mavericks. They come out with a win. And again, if you were with us earlier, you heard I was calling the game shot. LeBron passes it to he starts to play going. It gets kicked around to Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook start penetrating from the left, and when he gets to the middle of the floor, he sees Reeves out there, standing number 15 for the Lakers, standing outside waiting on a jumper, and Westbrook kicks it to him, and then he cashes it in like all cash net. It's when you get that register that's really ringing at you, and then before you get your money, or if you're in Vegas and that machine when it starts kicking out some coins, it starts ringing at you. That's how Westbrook kicked it out to Reeves, and Reeves cashed it in, buddy. He cashed it in. It was all net jumper to go ahead with 9.9 seconds on the clock as the Los Angeles Lakers just went ahead down into Dallas and destroyed, not even destroyed, but defeated those guys and allowed them to come home with a fresh head. So the Mavericks didn't finish it out. We talked about what the Clippers did in the NBA. Who's surprising? Who's surprising you in the NBA? Who's not surprising? I don't know. You guys tell me. Because Toronto, are they surprising to you? I mean, I'd be surprised that they aren't as good as I expected them to be. But other than that, I don't know what might be surprising. Um, we have predictions for we have the supremacy rankings in the NBA as well. I have the Suns number one, the Warriors number two, the Nets, the Bulls, excuse me, and then the Jazz. So I have the Suns, Warriors, Nets, Bulls, Jazz as my top five teams in the NBA right now. I'd be interested to hear you guys' feedback, your response. Come on, don't just watch the show. I don't mind talking to you. What's up with the Grizzlies? What you want? The Grizzlies are on fire now. Who's this Burns? The Grizzlies is on fire. I mean, what you want to know about them? Because they've been blowing cats out and then scoring a lot. I know Taylor Jenkins was talked years ago. He's one of my favorite coaches because he talks about building the family and taking it over, and he wanted to learn his players and not just shove his plan down their throats. That's I was appreciative of his approach when he took over the job as the head coach, and it's nice to see things come to fruition because I know in their last few games they've been spanking folks, and that's without John Murray or Jam Morant, excuse me. So when he comes back, it's even going to be sweeter for these guys. So, what you think about the Grizzlies? You tell me. Again, somebody asked about the Grizzlies, but was you tell me what you think about the Grizzlies? Okay, let them know you asked about it. You tell me what you think. I'm here. I'll send you the link so you can get on and join me. How about that? Um, Yeah, so we're going to talk about. I got my NBA predictions right now. They haven't changed. We're not even midway through the season. I have the Brooklyn Nets versus the Denver Nuggets. That's why I have in the NBA Finals. I was thinking I wasn't expecting the Nuggets actually to go down with the back injury. Um, you know who I'm talking about, the Denver Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, and then Murray, we expected Murray to be back by now. So with Murray not coming back by now, it's obviously it's going to put a damper on what Jokic could do, and nobody stepped up to kind of be that second or third secondary triple option when it comes to shooting the ball. So everybody can load up on them and know what they're coming because there's only one man. So who knows what they'll be able to do? We have to see. We have to see if they can hang with stuff with certain things when they come. So the Nuggets again, we're gonna see how they hang up with it. Another one of my favorite segments is this week in history. In this segment, we kind of go back and talk about some history things that things the masses may not have known about. Just like the Negro Methodist Episcopal Church, founded in Jackson, Tennessee, back in 1890, December 16, 1890. Andrew Young was named ambassador in chief of U.S. delegate to the United States um, back in 1976. Recently as 1976, I should say. Uh, December 18th, 1865, Congress finally passed the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery. But that was in 1865. What was the Civil War? If you guys remember? Hmm. In 1860, December 20th, South Carolina seceded from the Union, initiating the Civil War. But they get mad when somebody else goes try to build their own property and do their own thing, huh? In September 15, 1992, Arthur Ashe was named Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. And then December 15th, 1996, John Elway, then of the Denver Broncos, and only of the Denver Broncos, I guess, won his 126th game to set an NFL record. His 126th game he won, and he won an NFL record. And that was, I think that has to be after that's no December 15th. So they had the one run on, but was that a repeat? So they were repeating at this time. I think they're going to repeat that season. This is December 15, 1996. Mario Cristobal go back to Miami. If you guys didn't know, Lincoln Riley takes over at USC. Um, Amanda Nunez, she loses. Wow, who knew about that? Who knew she was fighting? First of all, shame on ESPN for that poor promotion that they put out there on that one. And then she looked about that interested too when she lost. I mean, she tapped out as soon as the girl got on her back. There was no kind of struggle, no defense. I mean, what was that? That seemed fishy. Didn't it seem? It seemed a little fishy to me that she put up no struggle when the old girl, made her tap out. She didn't make any struggle from that point. It seemed a little fishy to me. Maybe not to you, but it seemed a little fishy to me. We got some big games coming up this week. We got starting to with tomorrow. We got the Kansas City Chiefs and they travel to LA, play at SoFi Stadium. They travel to LA to play the Los Angeles Chargers. Who do you guys think is going to win that game? Are you a believer in the Chargers? Are you guys a believer in Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert and their cast of characters at wide receiver? Are you a believer in them? If you're a believer in the Los Angeles Chargers, press one. Couple big games, the Patriots and the Colts. We'll see if the Colts can stand up against the Patriots. Um, Let me see. I'm just going to talk about the big games in this segment here. And I called out Tennessee. Tennessee and the Steelers, that's going to be a hard hitting game. How good of a game it's going to be, we don't know. But they're going to be hit. They're going to be hitting hard in that game. That's why I would be intrigued about watching that game. Seahawks and the Rams. It's a division rival. Seahawks haven't looked at that game. They're 5-8. They love to upset the apple cart and beat up the Rams in SoFi Stadium. I don't think that's going to happen though. We'll have to see what condition is Lamar Jackson is because the Packers come to town, Green Bay, and everything that they bring. We think that's going to be a good game. Probably one of the games I'll pick. But if you were wanting to watch football, you get to see potentially one of the greatest quarterbacks ever against a young up and coming quarterback and Lamar Jackson. Both of them have MVPs, him and Aaron Rodgers. So that'd be a great matchup actually. If you want to see some football come Sunday, that Aaron Rodgers and we'll see what condition that Lamar Jackson is in. I'd have to. They say it's a low ankle sprain. I'd have to suspect with the medication that he has that they can get him right for one game on Sunday, a few hours. Well, I have to believe in that. But those are some of the bigger games that I see that's going on this week. Then I'm not going to tell you about our suggestions. Fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, especially those of you who's participated in the show this week. Keep that participation up. I appreciate that. Keep that participation up in the future. If you didn't have a chance to participate this week, you can participate next week because we do this each and every week. Well, my name's Cam. This is the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is 170th show. Before I leave the show, I'm going to leave this show with a quote. So a couple things I like to do. We had the fun with the numbers game at the beginning of the show. We took a moment to educate you guys at the midway through the show with This Week in History. And now we're going to leave with a quote to hopefully feed anybody's spiritual soul here. I never left the field saying I could have done more to get ready, and that gave me peace of mind. That's Peyton Manning. If you know what Peyton Manning's accomplished, you know that he was a stickler for everything. And that's him saying, I never left the field saying I could have done more to get ready, and that gives me peace of mind. So you want to be prepared, which allows you to be confident going into any meeting situation. Again, you want to be prepared, which allows you to be confident going into any meeting situation. So prepare yourself for the situation as best you can. When the situation comes, knock it out the park. So that'd be my suggestion to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 170. This is your man Cam. Thank you guys for joining me. I say peace.